Namaste. This class I've got for you revises some of the other sessions that we've done on the back. So looking at the hips, the pelvis, the mid and upper back, the shoulders, the neck, a little bit of everything, a little bit of core strengthening, lots of stretching out. So an all over good practice for back health. You might want to have a strap, a dressing gown cord, a belt ready. That's going to be useful today. And also a block, perhaps a couple of blocks or a cushion to sit on, and maybe a block or a book at the end would be useful. So place your strap, or your cord, or whatever you've got to the right of your yoga mat, and let's start lying down. So come to lying on your mat with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor, and see how that feels for you. If that feels fine, then you can stretch the legs out long. Otherwise, you might want to keep the knees bent, resting the hands where they're comfortable, maybe on the belly, maybe by the sides of the hips. Allow the eyes to close and come to stillness. Focus on the breath coming in and out of the body. Letting the belly swell, the ribs expand, the chest lift, and then everything relax down again. Allow the breath to get deeper and slower as you settle and center yourself. Ready for this practice today, and notice whether there's anything going on in your back that you need to be aware of during the session. You might already know that there's things that you need to modify, need to be cautious about, or perhaps this is drawing your attention to something just to keep a watchful eye of. And then I'd like you to start with the feet on the ground. Bend the right knee over the chest for a hug. And then using your belt or strap or whatever you can find, place the foot in the middle of it. Inhale with a bent knee, and as you exhale, straighten that right leg out. So push the right foot into the strap and take a few breaths there, bending the knee, straightening the knee. Give a little bit of resistance, drawing the belt down towards you so that you've got something to push into, opening out the back of the leg. And if this all feels good, you might want to slide the left foot out so that your left leg is straight. That's going to put a little more pressure on the back, so any back issues, please keep the knee bent. If you're sliding the leg out long, keep the toes pointed up to the ceiling, so foot flexed. We're going to take the straps of the belt into our right hand, use the left hand to place it on the front of the left hip and anchor that hip on the ground. Think I'm going to keep my shoulders and my hips on the ground. As we inhale with the leg extended up and exhale, taking it out to the side. Gently this first time, and then inhale, guiding the leg and the foot back up. Exhale, letting it drop out to the side, maybe a little further. Maybe your hand slides down the belt, bringing the elbow to the floor. Coming up again on the inhale, and this last time dropping the foot out to the right hand side. Maybe it comes to the ground. Maybe it's almost up in the air. Doesn't matter. I want you to breathe here for a couple of breaths. Allow the hips and the pelvis to open as best you can. And then really anchoring the belly button down towards the spine. Inhale, lift the leg back up again. Swap the straps into the left hand as you let that right thigh cross over the left thigh. So this can be done with the left leg extended or the left foot on the floor and the left knee bent. We're taking the foot in the opposite direction and feeling a stretch down the side or back of that right leg. Inhale, upright. And exhale, bend the knee, release the strap, pop that over on the left, ready for the other side in a minute. And then everybody bring their left foot flat on the floor and place their right foot, ankle, onto the left knee. Let the right knee drop out in a figure 4 pose. You might gently press the right knee away from you, trying to take the knee away from the right hip. And you can stay like this for the next few breaths, or for a little more work, flex the feet. Maybe you lift the left foot up off the ground. So bringing the legs closer to the chest is going to increase the stretch around the right hip. And you might be able to loop your hands around the back of the left thigh. If not, maybe take the belt around the left thigh to hold on to. Or if you want to draw the legs even closer, link the fingers around the front of the left shin. And breathe into the stretch here. If you've gritted your teeth and you're lifting your head and neck off the floor, then try one of those other options, releasing the leg further down, taking the legs away from you. Plenty of work to find at your edge. One more big breath and then release. Left foot to the ground, right foot to the ground. Extend out the legs or let the knees drop together if you prefer to keep the knees bent. And take a few breaths to notice the difference on the left side and the right side. How does the hip, the thigh, the leg, the ankle, the whole side of the right body feel compared to the left? Maybe you feel a little higher or lower on one side, longer in the leg. Maybe the back of the pelvis feels different. Just noticing, not judging or deciding what should be there. And then we'll do that work on the other side. So start with bent knees, I suggest, feet flat on the floor. Hug the left knee over the chest and draw it towards you. So linking the fingers around the shin, little squeeze towards the chest before taking the strap and placing the left ball of the foot in the center of it. Inhale, and as you exhale, push it up to the ceiling. Settle the shoulders so that they're nice and relaxed, and then bend and straighten the leg. So letting the hands slip down the strap to a comfortable position. And how does the back feel? If the lumbar spine feels like it's okay, stretch that right leg out. Flex the right foot, toes pointing up to the ceiling. Any discomfort in the back, rebend that right knee and keep the right foot on the floor. And now you're going to put the straps into the left hand, anchor that right hip on the ground using your hand on the top of the hip bone. Inhale with the leg outstretched to the sky. Exhale, taking it out to the side. Just a little this first time till you feel a stretch, and then inhale, bring it back up again. Second time, see if you can go a little further, maybe sliding the hands down the belt. Maybe the elbow comes to the floor, maybe not. And then inhaling up. And this last time, whether you've got the right leg extended out or the knee bent, take that left leg out to the side as far as you can. Couple of breaths there. Inhale, lift it up again, and then crossing the leg over, swap the strap into your right hand, and you're now getting a stretch down the back or side of that left leg. Nice deep breaths. Really draw the belly button down to lift the leg back up and release. Unloop the strap, pop that to one side for use later on. And again, come back to either constructive rest with the knees resting together or a nice long Shavasana and observe. How does that feel? Is it even in the body? Does it feel different on one side to the other? Maybe a little shrug of the shoulders, a hug of the knees, and a rock from side to side before you roll onto your side and press yourself up to sitting. We're going to draw the feet together, so soles of the feet together, and gently flutter the knees in our butterfly pose. Ease out those hip flexors. The closer the heels are to the hips, then the more work you're getting, the more you're going to stretch out, but also stress the hip flexors. So be comfortable when you're doing this. Good. And you might want to sit on a block to raise the hips. We're going to work on the upper back a little more now. So come to a comfortable seated position. I suggest cross-legged or with the legs out in front of you, a little bend in the knees. And bring the hands to the heart to start with. Think about the spine, always trying to lift and straighten and lengthen that spine. Inhale, open the arms out, nice and wide. Exhale, cross the left arm over the top of the right and give yourself a hug around the shoulders. You can either stay here with the elbows crossed over each other, or you can bring the forearms up parallel. Maybe even wrap the wrists around so that the palms touch. So find your version of eagle arms. The wrap could be the hands resting on the shoulders. And we're going to work the shoulders here. On the inhale, we're lifting the elbows. On the exhale, drawing the elbows down, dropping the head, let the back round. Inhale, lift the elbows up. Feel a bit of a squeeze, some work between the shoulders. Doesn't have to be lifting them really high. And then exhale, bowing down, opening up across the back. Last time, lifting the elbows up. Exhale, drawing them down and bowing. And then coming upright, we're going to take a twist to the right. So inhale here, try and get that back nice and long. Turn to the right on the exhale and let the right hand come behind your right hip. The left hand can drop down onto the opposite knee, so onto the right knee. And you're in a seated twist now. Again, it doesn't matter if your legs are crossed or extended in front. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, rotate yourself around, spiraling the tummy, the chest, the shoulders, and last of all the head into your twist. Inhale, unwind. This could be a very subtle movement, or you could go deeply into the twist on the exhale. Inhale, unwind again, finding extra space and lengthen the spine every time you breathe in, and on the exhale, twisting. Good. Staying here with the hand on the right leg or knee. Inhale, lift the right arm up. Exhale, come over into a side stretch. So we've got twisted side stretch here. Your left ear is facing the floor, and your right fingertips are reaching out over the left knee. Breathe into the right side of the ribs, and be aware of trying not to crunch and compress the left side of the back too much. So opening up both sides of the back if you can. Inhale to finish. Exhale, bow your head. Allow that right hand to find the left knee. Roll up, and you should find now that your right arm is crossing over the left. If not, adjust yourself so that it is so, and hug the shoulders. Good. And again, choose your eagle arms. It might be different on one side to the other. If you've got your legs crossed, you might want to cross them the opposite way if that's become a little uncomfortable. So maybe arms perpendicular to the floor, maybe that full wrap, and maybe that's just not comfortable or not possible, and you keep the elbows crossed over each other with the hands resting on the shoulders. When you're ready to begin, inhale, lifting the elbows, maybe looking up. Exhale, round the back, drop the head. Draw everything in, squeezing the core muscles. So the inhale can become a bit of a back bend if you want to. Lifting the heart, lifting the head. The exhale is still rounding the back, opening out the back of the body, but squeezing the tummy muscles. Little engagement with the pelvic floor, the glutes. Last time, squeeze everything down, coming into the center. Good. And then coming upright, lengthening on the inhale. Exhale, turning to the side. The right hand finds the left knee, and that left hand comes down behind the hip to support a lovely upright lift, space between the vertebrae on the inhale before you turn into the twist on the exhale. 2 more breaths like that. Unwind and lengthen. Inhale. Exhale, turning around. And again. Working with your breath, seeing if you can release and relax into the twist. And then inhale, left hand lifts up. Exhale, over you go into a side stretch, a diagonal side stretch. Left fingers this time reaching into the distance. Right ear towards the floor, left ear up towards the ceiling. Let the head be heavy, get stretched down the side of the neck. Nice big inhale, and then on the exhale, bring hands onto opposite knees. Unroll. Let's open the arms up to finish. And bring the hands back to the heart. Good stuff. Okay, transition onto all fours now. Coming to tabletop pose. And you might decide that hands under the shoulders is not right for you. Maybe fists might make the wrists a little more comfortable, or you can do all of the next part of the session on forearms if that's what is best. We're going to take the right foot behind us and tuck the toes, push back through the right heel, taking the crown of the head forward and that back heel back to get lovely length down the body. Then I want you to inhale there. On the exhale, sweep the foot around to your left behind you and look over the left shoulder towards the foot, taking the body into a C-shaped curve. Inhale, exhale, sweep the foot all the way around to the side and place it on the floor as best you can, pushing the outer edge of the foot down into the floor, Get lovely length in the spine, and we're going to do our cat-cow here. So inhale. On the exhale, round the back. Let the head drop. On the inhale, pelvis tilts forward, heart lifts, head lifts. Feel how this is in your leg. As you breathe in and out, how does it change the feeling at the hip, the thigh, down the back of the leg, and the spine? Good. Inhale to finish. Exhale, sweeping that foot behind, and come back to kneeling, ready to do that on the other side. So first of all, that left leg goes back behind, tucking the toes, getting length between the crown of the head and the back heel. Nice big inhale, and then as you exhale, sweep the foot around, this time to the right, looking over your right shoulder. Breathing into the space created in the left ribs, but also trying to lengthen the right side, not compressing the back and the side too much. Inhale there. Exhale, sweep the foot around to the side, taking it out to the left. Get yourself nice and square. Inhale to start with, and then exhale, round the back, drop the head, really drawing the belly button up to the sky. Inhale, let the hips rock forward. Lift the heart, lift the head. So moving through your cat-cow with this leg extended to the side, if that's all right for you. Obviously, if there's any pain in any of the movements we do in yoga, then please modify or come out of them and rest. Good. Again, let's finish with an inhale here. Exhale, sweep the foot back behind and come back to kneeling. If you want to come to child pose or sit back, massage the wrists, rotate them, wriggle the fingers, have a little break before we do the next part of the work, that's fine. So we're going to come into some form of dog, either downward dog with the hips lifted, or staying on your knees. You can walk the hands forward for a half down dog, our puppy dog. Either way, the idea is to lengthen through the back. So if you are going to come into downward facing dog, hands a little bit in front of the shoulders, shoulder width apart, and tuck the toes. Inhale, exhale, lift the hips. Keep the knees bent to start with, and really push the floor away from you to try and get this lovely length in the back. And whether you're kneeling or the knees are off the floor, get those sit bones pointing up to the sky. The head is relaxed between the upper arms and the heart melts down. And then walk the legs out, stretching out the back of the legs. If you're in downward facing dog, if you're in puppy dog, you might want to take one leg out long and then the other. And then rest back down while I show you what we're going to do next. So it's your choice whether to continue working on the ground or up in downward facing dog. And we're going to take one leg out behind us before bringing the knee underneath and looking towards it. So you can work here, or you can lift into downward facing dog, lift the right leg up first, and whether you've got the whether you're kneeling or whether you're in downward dog, I really want the toe to be pointing down towards the floor. So it's easy to have it pointing to the side. We want to try and keep the hips level, whichever way you're working. Get lovely length along the spine. Inhale, exhale, bring the knee underneath the chest, look towards it, nose to knee. Engage all those core muscles before lengthening out again. Space in the body. Inhale. Exhale, nose to knee, really drawing in the side waist, the glutes. Work those thighs, those back muscles. Good. And then resting, either in down dog or if you want to come to kneeling for a breath, absolutely fine. Let's do that the other side. Lifting the left foot up behind you. Get that length through the heel, flexing the foot. Toes point towards the earth. Inhale. Exhale. Bend the knee, draw it underneath. Let your weight come forward. Inhale, extend. Exhale. Feel this work on your abdomen. And then opening out on the inhale. One more time. Exhale. Knee underneath. Lovely. Come down to the floor, either staying in kneeling or sinking the hips back to child pose, knees wide, resting the head down. Rotate those wrists. Maybe you like to bring the hands back beside the feet. And breathe into the back body. Coming up to all fours, make your way into a forward fold. So walking the hands and the feet together, coming into a forward bend, really nice and soft, like a rag doll. Let the knees bend, let the head dangle down. Your arms, you can either have the hands holding opposite elbows or letting them dangle. Let gravity lengthen out the spine. And a few breaths here, you might want to straighten your legs on the exhale and then rebend and lengthen the spine a little more on the inhale. Preparing to come up, make sure the feet are hip width apart to feel nice and stable. Press into the ground and rolling up or rising up. You can lift the hands at the top if you want to, bringing the hands to the heart and then come into mountain pose. So let's take a moment to establish ourselves here. Let the breath settle and think about the posture. So roll the shoulders back, draw the shoulder blades down, shoulders away from the ears, lengthen up through the neck, up through the crown of the head, like there's that helium balloon drawing you up into the air. Palms face forwards, so this keeps the chest lifted and open. Little bit of engagement in the glutes, the thighs, a little bit of inward rotation. It's going to keep the pelvis nice and wide. Tuck the tailbone down slightly. So we're not sticking the bum out. We don't want to round the spine. We want this lovely length. And then if the knees are now locked back, soften behind the knees. We want to press down into the floor with our feet parallel, the outside edges of the feet parallel to each other, as though we're trying to take the feet apart, and that will engage the leg muscles. And as much as you're allowing yourself to drop down into the ground, I want you to feel a rebound of earth energy coming up through the body to keep you lifted, just like a mountain, rooted into the floor, but rising up to the sky. Good stuff. Let's warm the shoulders up a little more here. So bringing the hands to the heart, we'll take some circles, inhaling, opening the arms up and out and bringing them down the center line. Twice more like that. Little bend in the knees if you like. Good. And again. And then come to the back of your mat so we can step forward for some lunges. Again, have the feet at least hip width apart, and try not, when you step forward, try not to come onto a tightrope with your legs. You'll find it a little wobbly. So hands on hips, inhale. On the exhale, big stride forward with the right foot and set yourself up. We're going to lift the back heel off the ground so that we can keep the toes pointing forward. With a straight leg here, inhale, try and keep the hips forward as well. On the exhale, bend the front knee. And we're looking for a bit of stretch down the back thigh and the front knee to be coming over the ankle. So if you need to take a step back, wriggle the feet a little wider apart, draw the tummy up, tailbone down. Good. Now pulse in and out of that. So on the inhale, push into that front foot, straighten the front leg. On the exhale, let your hips be heavy, drop down, but keep the core engagement. Tuck the tailbone, draw up the belly. Straighten the leg, drop down into it. Good. One more time. See how low you can go on your lunge. And then we've got to push into that front leg, get a bit of momentum going, push into the front foot to step back. That doesn't happen. Take a couple of steps backwards. Re-establish yourself at the back of your mat, and let's do that the other side. So, first of all, nice big step forward and check that you haven't come too much in line. The feet want to still be hip width apart. Lift that back heel. So we've got the hips facing forward, the feet are parallel to each other. Inhale here, hands on the hips. Exhale, come into our lunge. And then see if you need to adjust the feet. I'm going to go a little bit wider apart, further apart. Inhale, push into the left foot, straighten the left leg. Exhale, drop the hips forward and down. See if you can feel something happening on the front of the right thigh, those quad muscles, nice strong muscles. And don't let this be at the cost of your lumbar spine. So keeping that core engagement to support the posture. This time, let's step forward. So a little push from the back foot to step forward and find your strap. Ready for working in our balance. Okay, now everybody's balance differs from day to day, side to side, so you might want to find a wall or a chair to be near for this. We'll balance on the left foot first of all, so left hand needs to reach out to something if you want to. And the strap is optional. We're going to bend the right knee, and you might like to put the strap around it to hold that in place, give yourself something to push the shin into, or there'll be an option to wrap it around the ball of the foot. Okay, just see how you go. You can always drop the strap and get rid of that if there's plenty enough to be working with without it. So take a focus, something that's not moving, and press down into your left foot. Let the weight drop down into that leg. Lifting the right knee directly up in front of you, flex the right foot. Hands can be on the hips or down by your sides. And you could stay and breathe like this. You could use the belt to support the pose. Or you might want to, when you feel balanced, loop the strap around the ball of the right foot in order to extend the leg out. So take your time with that. Hands can be down by your sides or on your hip or against the wall, whatever's best for you. Keep the breath going. Focus on the core muscles holding you upright. And whichever posture you've chosen, notice if you're compromising your back. So tailbone should still be long, tummy drawn up. Head lifted. Well done. Couple more breaths if you can. When you come out, see if it can be in a dignified manner, bringing the foot back down to the floor, feeling the relief before we do the other side. So if the belt was useful, stick with it. If you'd rather do it without, not a problem. Take the weight over into your right leg. Maybe you need to turn yourself around in order to do this. Spread the right foot into the floor. Lift the left knee forward and up. Flex that foot. Okay, and then you decide. You might stay here. You might loop the belt or your fingers around the shin or around the ball of the left foot. Extending the leg. Pressing into the belt, draw yourself up nice and tall. Check in with your posture. Long spine, long neck. Don't grit your teeth together for dear life. Can you smile whilst doing this? And keep your focus and concentration. Couple more deep, slow breaths. And when you're ready, bending the knee, bringing the foot back down to the ground. Keep hold of the strap or gather it up if you haven't got it. And come back to Tadasana for a moment, feeling the effect on the body and the mind of your balance. And we're going to do a little bit more work for the shoulders. Going to do the top half of cow face pose. This is where we try and link the hands behind the back. So have your strap in your right hand to start with. I'm going to double mine up and hold the end with the D-rings just so that I don't swing them around and hit myself with them. So lifting your right arm up into the air, take your left hand and place the back of the left hand on your lower back so that you can catch hold of the strap. And then draw the right hand down so that you're sticking your right elbow up into the air, and as best as possible, the left elbow is tucked into the side, the back of the body, rather than sticking out. And then walk the hands a little closer together. Inhale, reach the elbows in opposite directions. Exhale, soften. See if you can walk the hands a little closer together. Now observe, as you're breathing in and out here, are the ribs poking out, those lower ribs? Can you draw them in? Draw the belly towards the spine. Lengthen the tailbone, lengthen up through the crown of the head. Have the chin a little tucked rather than lifting it up to the sky. Really pull against the strap to get a good stretch. Don't force getting those hands together. You might be able to take a monkey grip with the fingers, or you might have the belt a foot apart. It's absolutely fine. One more big breath to finish. And then release the strap, circle the shoulders, and prepare to do that on the other side. So belt in the left hand, lift the left arm up. Let the belt drop behind you. Sweep the right hand out to the side, bend the elbow, back of the right hand comes onto the lower back, and the strap drops down into it. Establish that to start with. And then we can draw the top elbow up, the bottom elbow down and in, and creep the hands slowly towards each other. Okay, so lifting the elbows apart, and then maybe walking the hands closer. You might be able to get a monkey grip with the fingers, and then just notice if in order to do that, everything's come out. Can you keep a nice long spine? and breathe. Good. One more big breath. Reaching the elbows in opposite directions before you release. Let go of the strap and take a well-deserved shoulder roll and have a moment to breathe. We're going to come down to lying on our tummies next. Bring the hands in front of the heart. If you want to, lift the arms out and up. Inhaling, exhaling, fold forward into a soft forward bend. Let the hands find the floor. Step back either into downward facing dog or coming to kneeling. Maybe child's pose if you want to rest. You've got a few breaths here to decide how to spend it before I want everybody to come down onto the belly. When you're lying on your mat, you need to decide whether Sphinx pose is right for you, with the elbows under the shoulders, heart lifted forward, or whether to take crocodile pose with the forehead resting on the hands. You might want to take a low cobra with the hands under the shoulders. Whichever of those options you're in, I want you to reach the toes back and see if you can get all 10 toes, in fact all 10 toenails, onto the mat. And rolling onto the outside edges of the feet so those little toenails can be on the mat is going to help expand this lumbar area. We want to keep that nice and relaxed. The work is going to go on in the upper back now. Whichever posture you've chosen, you're going to inhale and bring the chest forward. So it might come up, but the direction of travel is more forward than up. And the exhale, relax it down. Notice if you're using the lumbar spine to do this. If it's aching, then engage the tummy, squeeze the glutes. See if you can get the work into the upper back much more. So whether it's cobra or sphinx or crocodile you're working in, think of opening up the front of the body on the inhale, releasing and relaxing on the exhale. Couple more times. And then depending on how your back is feeling after doing that, you can rest, perhaps in crocodile pose and sway the hips, or you might want to have a go at locust. Reaching the hands back beside the hips, you can keep the forehead on the floor and lift the legs only, the feet off the floor, but the hips are staying on the floor, up and down. Or you might want to do the upper body as well, lifting up on the inhale, lowering down on the exhale. And if all is feeling good, you can link the fingers behind the back, draw the shoulder blades together as you lift up and soften as you lower down. So explore that. If you want to rest, absolutely fine. After a couple more breaths, we're going to all meet together in child pose. So if you want to go ahead there, do so. Otherwise, hands now coming under shoulders, lifting your body weight up. Take your time going back through cat stretch. And then again, choose that wide child perhaps today. Widening the knees, big toes together, soften down. Maybe taking your hands back beside the feet. Gently pressing yourself up to kneeling or sitting, ready to find that strap again, and maybe get a block or a cushion under the hips, ready to come into Dandasana. Dandasana, our staff pose. This is where we sit with the legs forward and the body nice and upright, forming this right angle. And today I want you to loop your belt around the balls of the feet, extending that out, and find a little bit of tension. So comfortable position for your hands on the strap and pushing the heels away from the hips and lifting the crown of the head away from the sit bones. So really nice upright position, opening the heart. We want to keep length in the spine as we begin our back bend. So inhale, bend the knees just a little. Exhale, take the elbows out to the side as you hinge forward, not round forward. Walk the hands up the strap as you push into the strap to lengthen the legs. So the inhale, bend the knees. Bend the elbows, draw yourself forward. The exhale, we walk the hands up the strap and push the feet into it. And gradually you'll come into your forward fold. Use the bend of the knees as a reason to lengthen the back. Really pulling against the strap is quite nice. And then soften forward. And when you get to your maximum forward fold, you can use the belt, holding yourself there to breathe into, or you might let it go, bring the hands onto the mat or onto your legs. Think about how the back feels. So only when you're as flat as you can get, allow the head to drop, the back to round. Otherwise, you're still looking for that lovely length on the inhale and hinging on the exhale. Breathe into the stretch, whether it's the back of the legs, up the back of the body. Try not to let it all be around the lumbar area. You might be able to hold the feet. You might be on the end of your strap quite upright. Doesn't matter as long as you're getting that length into the back of the body and a bit of a stretch. And when you're ready to come out, let the strap go. Walk the hands beside the legs to come upright and make yourself ready for relaxation. Not quite there yet, but get anything nearby that you might want. You could put extra layers on or socks on, maybe have something under your head and come down to lying. If you want to have a book or a block handy, that might be useful for this next bit. So maybe a little hug of the knees before we work here on the floor. I'm going to finish with a twist and bridge pose. So our twist today, I want you to take the right thigh over the left thigh, so crossing the thighs, and maybe the legs stay nice and relaxed and crossed like this. Maybe you want to take an eagle pose wrap. And we're going to shift the hips just a little to the left. Inhale, lifting the knees, and exhale, dropping them out to the side. Try and keep these shoulders on the ground. So arms out in a T shape, letting the knees drop over to the right. And if this feels very uncomfortable in the back, then please unravel the legs and stack the knees on top of each other in our more familiar spinal twist. Wrapping the legs around each other gets some extra work into the lower back. It can be a delicious stretch around the hip and the lower back, but if it's uncomfortable or painful, please don't do that. Nice deep breath. You might turn the head in the opposite direction to the knees. And And on the inhale, draw the belly back towards the spine, lift the knees, unravel the legs if they're wrapped around each other. Shift yourself back into the center line. Take a moment here. And then for the other side, shifting the hips over to the right a little. The left leg is going to cross over the right, wrapping around, maybe wrapping around. And then we're going to inhale, lifting the feet off the floor, knees towards the chest, and drop the legs over to the left. Seeing how that feels on this side, maybe unraveling the legs better serves you today. Letting the knees be heavy, feet are on the floor, or one foot if you've wrapped the legs around each other. To come out, drawing the belly button back, lifting the knees up, unraveling the legs. And again, a little hug might be nice at this point. Massaging the lower back. For our bridge pose, the feet want to be up close to the hips, but flat on the floor. And perhaps you grab a block and put it between the knees, and this is going to help keep them pointing up to the ceiling. So hands beside the hips, palms face down. Press into the feet. Inhale, tuck the tailbone up. Lift the hips and roll up the spine, up towards the shoulders. On the exhale, use the core muscles to slowly roll back down the spine, keeping the hips till last. When they rest back down, relax the muscles and then start again. Push down into the feet, roll up. Opening the front body, lifting the hips, lifting the heart. Exhale, top of the spine comes down first, one vertebra at a time if you can, keeping that tailbone tucked, hips come down last. And you can continue working dynamically up and down like this, or you might choose now to hold at the top and work here, seeing if you can open the body a little more, lifting the hips. Maybe you link the fingers behind the hips and draw the elbows closer together, the shoulder blades coming closer together. Every inhale opens the front of the body, every exhale releases, if not down to the ground, then a little bit. And you might want to take the block away or continue working with it. 2 or 3 more breaths. Really try and lengthen the knees away from the shoulders now. Get that nice long spine. And on your final exhale, rolling as slowly as you can. Letting the hips be the last thing to come down onto the ground. Let the block go and settle yourself into the position you want to spend relaxation in. Maybe the legs extend out long, or maybe you keep the feet flat on the floor and the knees bent. Either cover yourself up, put something under your head, put socks on, whatever makes you feel more comfortable, and then allow the eyes to close. Maybe the palms are face up to the ceiling or resting on your belly or ribs. Asking yourself, is there anything else I could do to make myself more comfortable? Release the jaw, relax the shoulders and the pelvis. Time to integrate all the work that we've done as the muscles release and relax. Bring your awareness to your breath. I want to talk you through a relaxing pranayama practice, so a breathing practice. Some of you may have done alternate nostril breathing, where we use the fingers on the nose to open and close one side of the nose at a time. Well, it's similar to that. We're going to do alternate body breathing. You don't need to use your hands, just your awareness, just your imagination. So if you can, I'd like you to bring your awareness to the left nostril. Breathe in and out through the left nostril. Feeling the left side of your body expand and fill with air, and then deflate down again. And then shifting your awareness. On the next inhale through the left nostril, see if you can exhale out through the right nostril. And spend a few breaths breathing in and out the right side of your body. So the air coming in through the right side of the nose, expanding the right lung and all through the limbs, the right arm, the right leg, before exhaling out the right nostril, softening down. Whether you've got a sense of that or not, just stay with it. We're going to alternate the breaths now, alternate the breaths. So inhale through the right nostril, exhale through the left nostril. Inhale through the left nostril, exhale through the right nostril. Inhale through the same nostril that you just breathed out of. Exhale through the opposite one. At your own rhythm now. Inhaling same, exhaling opposite. And keep this breath going. The awareness, the intention of the breath, even if this feels difficult in the body. Let it be soothing. Imagine it's giving either side of the spine a massage. Couple more rounds. Next time you breathe out through your left nostril, release any control over the breath. Let the breath be free and even. Let this be soothing. A few more breaths, fully letting go, checking in that the jaw is released and relaxed, the tongue is heavy, the muscles are soft around the shoulders and the hips, belly, the limbs melting down into the mat. And then start deepening the inhales. Breathing movement into fingers and toes, letting that develop into the hands, the feet, the arms, the legs, maybe including a roll of the head from side to side, and either stretching out the limbs or perhaps hugging one knee then the other over the chest. Make your way onto your side and rest there. When you feel ready, press into the ground with your hands. Push yourself up to a seated position. And we'll finish with an Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, bringing the hands in front of the heart space, taking them out to the side and up above. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Nice big breath into the heart space. Exhale and bow as we think about Om, the sound of the universe. Shanti, peace, wishing it for ourselves, for those we love, for everyone and every being around the world. Namaste. May your spines be happy and healthy. Thank you.